Hello, my wonderful friend. Welcome. Welcome to our little corner of the world. I am so happy you are here with me today. My name is Anna, and I am your friend on this learning journey. Today, we are going to talk about something beautiful. We will talk about learning, and we will talk about remembering. So please find a comfortable place. Maybe you are sitting on a soft chair. Maybe you are walking outside in nature. Maybe you have a warm cup of tea or coffee. Just relax your body. Take a gentle breath in and a slow breath out. Just listen to my voice. There is nothing else you need to do right now. Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here with me. It truly means the world to me. If you enjoy our time together today and you want to help our little community grow, you can do a very simple thing. You can tap the like button, or you can follow or subscribe to the channel. It is a very easy and fast way to support us. It helps other English learners, maybe just like you, find a safe and friendly place to learn. And I am always so curious about you. I love to imagine where you are in the world as you listen. Where are you listening from today? Are you in a country in Europe like Spain or Germany? Are you in Asia, maybe in India or Vietnam? Are you in North or South America, like Mexico or Canada or Brazil? I would love to know. You can write the name of your city or country in the comments below. It always makes me so happy to see our global family connecting here. Okay, let's begin our gentle journey together. Have you ever had this feeling? You read a wonderful book, you finish the last page, you close the book, and you feel so happy, you feel smart, you feel like you learned so much. But then, a few days later, maybe a week later, a friend asks you, "What was that book about?" And you stop. You try to remember, you know it was good, but the detail, the big ideas, they are like a dream you can't quite hold. They are gone. Or maybe you are in a class. You watch a lesson. You listen carefully to the teacher. You understand everything. You think, wow, this is so clear. But the next day, it feels fuzzy. It feels far away. You forgot almost everything. Does this sound familiar to you? If it does, please know you are not alone. This happens to almost everyone. It used to happen to me all the time, for many, many years. But then I found a new way, a very simple way, a gentle way to learn, and a gentle way to remember. I have used this system for the last 7 years. It helped me in my studies. It helped me learn new things from my work. It helps me remember beautiful ideas from books and papers. And in this episode, I want to share this simple system with you. My dear friend, I want to give you this gift because learning should feel good. It should feel like a joy, not a struggle. This system works so well, and the reason is simple. It is because we will understand learning in a new way. We will see that learning has 2 parts, 2 simple and clear stages. The first part is taking new things in. Let's call it the consumption period. This is when you read, or when you listen, or when you watch. The second part is making the new things a part of you. Let's call it the digestion period. This is when you truly understand. This is when you make the knowledge yours forever. Think about it like cooking a beautiful meal. Imagine you want to cook a delicious soup. The first part is going to the market. This is consumption. You walk through the market, you see the bright red tomatoes, you smell the fresh green herbs, you choose yellow onions and orange carrots. You gather all your ingredients, you put them in your basket. You are gathering information. Now, the second part begins. This is digestion. You bring your beautiful ingredients home to your warm kitchen. You don't just leave them on the table. No, you begin the art of cooking. You wash the vegetables, you chop the onions. Maybe your eyes water a little, and that's okay. You slice the carrots. You put everything in a pot. You add water and salt and love. You stir it gently. You let it cook slowly. The whole house starts to smell wonderful. You are not just gathering. You are creating. You are changing the ingredients into something new, something warm, something that will give you energy. You are making a delicious meal. You are making knowledge your own. Now, what do most people do when they learn? Many people think the secret to a better meal is to have more ingredients. So they focus only on the first part. They only focus on consumption. They run to the market again and again. They pile more and more vegetables on the kitchen counter. They think, if I just gather more, my meal will be better. In learning, this looks like trying to read faster, or watching videos at 2 times speed, or 3 times speed, or listening to audiobooks all day long, one after another. They just keep piling up new information, book after book, video after video. The kitchen counter is now full. It is a big, messy pile of ingredients. But my friend, is there a meal? No, there is no meal. There's only a mess. The ingredients will soon go bad. And all that effort was for nothing. That is not how learning works. Learning is not just about what comes into your brain. It is much, much more about what stays in your brain. It is about what you can use, what you can share, what becomes a part of you. This is what the second part, the digestion period, is for. It is the cooking. It is the magic. It is the part that most people forget. But you will not forget. Because today, I am going to teach you a system to become a master chef of learning. You will learn how to gather your ingredients, and you will learn how to cook them beautifully. This will help you remember so much more, and you will be able to use your knowledge in your life. But first, I want to ask a question. Is it possible to remember everything you read? Everything you hear? The short answer is no, it is not. But here is a beautiful secret. Trying to remember everything is not the goal. It should not be your goal, and I will tell you a story to show you why. There was a man who was very special. He could remember everything. His name was Kim Peek. His life was so amazing that Hollywood made a movie about him. Kim Peek had a very, very powerful memory. It was like a superpower. If he read a book just one time, he could remember every single word. He could even write the book out, word for word, from the last page to the first, perfectly. He loved to read maps. He memorized thousands of them. So many that you could ask him, Kim, how do I drive from this city to that city? And in his mind, he could see all the roads. He could tell you the fastest way to get there. He had this amazing ability because his brain was different. He was born with a very special brain. Scientists studied him. They believe his brain created new ways to connect information. These new connections gave him his super memory. His mind was like a perfect photocopy machine. It could copy anything it saw perfectly, but there was something it could not do. A photocopy machine can make a perfect copy, but it cannot create a new picture. It cannot take the information and make something new from it. Kim's mind was like that. He could remember information, but it was very hard for him to use it in new ways. Now, let's imagine something. Imagine you and Kim Peek are going to take the same test. Who do you think will do better? Well, the answer is, it depends on the test. If the test is a memory test, like what is the third word on page 52? Kim Peek would win, of course. He would be the champion. But what if the test was a different kind of test? What if it was a university exam? An exam that asks you to think, to solve a new problem, to connect ideas and create a new argument. On that test, you might do better. You might have the advantage because even with his super memory, Kim Peek found it very hard to reason. He found it hard to solve new problems. And for most of us, for you and for me, using knowledge is the whole point. We learn so we can solve problems. We learn so we can create new things. We learn so we can build a better life for ourselves and for others. So it is not enough to just remember everything. And that is good news because for most of us, that is not possible anyway. But here is what is possible. It is possible to remember everything you need to remember. And it is possible to remember it in a way that helps you use it, to think with it, to create with it. And that is what our simple system will help you do. It will help you build a useful memory, not just a full one. To start, we must understand a very important truth. Not all information is the same. Think about tools. If you want to bake a cake, you use a whisk and a bowl. If you want to hang a picture, you use a hammer and a nail. You would not use a hammer to bake a cake. Of course not. That would be silly. It would be messy. And you would not get a cake. Learning is the same. Using the wrong learning process for a type of information is like using a hammer to bake a cake. It makes learning harder. It takes more time. And it is the reason you sometimes read a whole page and then think, what did I just read? So I break down information into 5 simple kinds, 5 categories. To help me remember them, I use a simple word. The word is PACER, P-A-C-E-R. But you don't need to remember the word. Just remember the ideas. The ideas are what matter. The system is very simple. Remember our 2 stages? Consumption and digestion? In stage 1, when we are consuming, when we are learning something new, We just ask a simple question. What kind of information is this? Is it a P, an A, a C, an E, or an R? We identify it. Then in stage 2, when we are ready to digest, we use a special cooking method just for that kind of information, a targeted process. This special process helps store it in our long-term memory, the place where things stay. Let's go through these 5 types together, slowly and gently. I promise it is easy. Let's start with the first letter, P. The P stands for procedural. That might sound like a big word, but it's a very simple idea. Procedural information is any information that tells you how to do something. It is a recipe, a set of instructions, a guide. A book on how to do a magic trick is procedural. A video that shows you how to knit a scarf is procedural. Learning how to drive a car, learning how to play a song on the guitar, learning how to speak a new sentence in English. These are all procedural. They are all about how. So when you see this kind of information, you know it is a P. Now, what is the special cooking method for it? What is the targeted process for procedural information? It is one simple word, practice. Yes, practice, doing the thing. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You can read 100 books about it. You can study the physics of balance. You can watch 1,000 videos of people riding bikes. But have you learned how to ride a bike? No. You have learned a lot about riding a bike, but you have not learned how to ride a bike. You only learn when you get on the bike, when you feel the wobbly handlebars in your hands, when you push the pedals with your feet, when you fall down and get up again. That is when the real learning happens. The key to remembering procedural information is to apply it, to do it in real life, and to do it as soon as you can. Many people make a mistake here. They read the instructions, they memorize the steps, they write beautiful notes about how to do it. And then they say, I will practice next week. But next week, it is too late. The information is gone. It has faded away like a dream. And all that time they spent memorizing was wasted. So if you are learning how to do something and you don't have time to practice it right now, you have 2 choices. Choice 1, move on. Learn something else for now. Choice 2, stop consuming. Stop reading. And make time to practice. Do not waste your precious time just trying to memorize the steps. It will not work. It is like reading a recipe over and over, but never going into the kitchen. You will not taste the soup that way. This brings us to a very important idea. Our 2 stages, consumption and digestion. Taking things in and making them yours. They must always be balanced. Like 2 wings of a bird. You need both to fly. Imagine you are building a castle with Lego bricks. Consumption is dumping the box of bricks onto the floor. A big pile of red, blue, and yellow bricks. Digestion is the fun part. It is picking up 2 bricks and clicking them together, and then adding a 3rd, and a 4th. You are building your castle. You are making progress. If you just keep dumping more and more boxes of bricks onto the floor, you do not build a castle. You just make a bigger and bigger mess. Soon you can't even walk in the room. You feel overwhelmed. You feel stuck. This is what happens when we consume too much and digest too little. Some studies say we forget up to 90% of what we learn within a week. 90%. That is like pouring 9 out of every 10 cups of water onto the ground. So here's a secret. It is better to spend less time consuming and more time digesting. Read less, but practice more. Watch less, but do more. This is how you build real solid knowledge, a beautiful castle that you can live in. So that is P for procedural. The rule is, if you learn how, you must do it now. Now for the second letter. A, the A in our system stands for analogous. Again, it might sound like a big word, but the idea is so simple and fun. Analogous information is when you connect something new to something you already know. You say, oh, this new thing is like that old thing. You make an analogy, a comparison. This is one of the easiest ways to remember things. Because you are not building a new house from zero. You are just adding a new room to a house you already have. For example, let's say you are a swimmer. You have been swimming for years. You know everything about how your arms pull through the water. That knowledge is already in your house. Now, let's say you are in a science class. And you are learning about how muscles work. You are learning about muscle contraction. You look at the diagrams of proteins pulling on each other. And you think, hey, wait a minute. This looks like my swimming stroke. The way one protein grabs and pulls is like how my hand grabs and pulls the water. Boom. You just created an analogy. You connected the new information, muscles, to your existing knowledge. Swimming. You have just made learning so much easier. But now comes the second part, the digestion, the cooking. What is the special process for analogous information? It is a powerful word, critique. To critique means to look at something closely, to ask good questions about it. This is the part most people miss, and it is the most important part. Once you make your analogy, muscle contraction is like my swimming stroke. You must now critique it. Examine it. Be a detective. Imagine a tailor. A tailor is making a new suit for you. You put on the jacket. At first, it looks good. That is your analogy. But a good tailor does not stop there. A good tailor inspects the fit. Critically, the tailor says, how are the shoulders? A little tight. And the waist? A little loose. The sleeves are perfect, but the collar needs an adjustment. The tailor is looking for where it fits and where it does not fit. You must do the same with your analogy. You must be the tailor of your own understanding. So with the swimming analogy, you ask yourself questions. In what ways are muscle contraction and my swimming stroke similar? Well, both involve a catch and a pull. Both use energy. Both create movement. Good. Now, the more important question, in what ways are they different? When does this analogy break down? Well, my arm is one big piece. The muscle proteins are tiny, tiny things. My swimming stroke is something I choose to do. The muscle contraction happens automatically. The water is outside my body. The proteins are inside my cells. Do you see what is happening? By asking these critique questions, by looking for the good fit and the bad fit, you are not just memorizing a fact. You are thinking deeply. You are building a rich, flexible, and strong understanding. You are turning a simple idea into deep wisdom, and you will never, ever forget it. So that is A for analogous. The rule is, if it's like something else, find out how it's like and how it's not. Now for our third letter. C, the C stands for conceptual. If procedural information is the how, conceptual information is the what and the why. Most subjects we learn in school are full of conceptual information. Science, history, economics. They are filled with concepts. Concepts are big ideas. They are the facts, the theories, the principles, the rules, and the relationships between things. The earth revolves around the sun is a concept. Supply and demand affect prices is a concept. Photosynthesis is how plants make food is a concept. So when you're learning a big new idea, you know it is a C. What is the special digestion process for conceptual information? The process is mapping. What do I mean by mapping? Let me explain with a story. A textbook or a lecture gives you information in a straight line. It starts at the beginning. It goes one word after another, one sentence after another. Chapter 1, then Chapter 2, then Chapter 3. It is a fixed path. Think of it like a train schedule. The schedule says the train goes from station A to station B, then to station C. It is a straight line. If you follow the schedule, you will visit all the stations. This is how a beginner learns. But how does an expert think? An expert who has lived in the city for 20 years? Does their knowledge exist in a straight line? No. An expert's mind is like a map of the whole city. A beautiful, detailed city map. They know all the train stations, yes, but they also know all the shortcuts, the little side streets, the beautiful parks, the bridges over the river. They know how every single place connects to every other place. An expert can start at any point on the map and get to any other point. They can find 5 different ways to get there. They see the whole city, the big picture. They don't just know the train route, they know the city. Your job as a learner is not to memorize the train route. Your job is to create that beautiful interconnected city map in your own mind. And how do we do that? We make a map, a mind map. This is a wonderful and fun technique. As you are reading a chapter or listening to a lesson, get a clean piece of paper and a pen. In the center of the paper, write the main idea, the main concept. Let's say the heart. Draw a circle around it. Now, as you learn a new piece of information, you add it to your map. You learn the heart has 4 chambers. So you draw 4 smaller circles around the main circle. You write their names in the side. You connect them with lines. You learn that blood comes into one chamber and leaves from another. So you draw arrows showing the flow. You learn about valves. You add them to your drawing. You learn the difference between arteries and veins. You add them to the map, maybe in different colors. You are not just writing a list of facts. You are building a picture of relationships. You are thinking not just about the individual facts, but about how they connect to create the big picture. Your map might be messy. That is okay. You might move things around. You might scratch things out and draw them again. This is not a test. This is the process of thinking. You are building your city map. You are building true understanding. So that is C for conceptual. The rule is don't just follow the path, draw the map. We have learned procedural, analogous, and conceptual. These are the big three, the foundation of your learning castle. If you can master these, you will be an amazing learner. The last two letters are faster to deal with, E and R. But people often confuse them, and this confusion can waste many, many hours. Let's talk about E. E stands for evidence. Evidence is information that supports a concept. It makes a big idea more real, more concrete. Evidence can be facts, statistics, numbers, or examples that prove a point. Let's use our building analogy again. The concept is the big idea, the architectural design of the building. We will build a tall, strong skyscraper. The evidence is the specific proof that the building will be strong. It is the engineering calculations, the specific type of steel we will use. The data that shows this steel can hold a certain amount of weight. Evidence proves the concept is sound. What is the digestion process for evidence? It is a two-step process. Store and rehearse. First, you store the evidence as you find it. You can write it in a special notebook, or use a notes app on your phone, or you can add it to your concept map. A little note next to the big idea. But storing is not enough. You must also rehearse. And for evidence, rehearsal means using it. It means practicing your ability to explain how that evidence supports the wider concept. You can practice by trying to solve problems, or by writing a short essay about the topic, or my favorite way, by explaining it to a friend. You say, "Hey, I learned this amazing concept, and here's the evidence that shows it's true." By using it, you make it yours. Now, let's look at the last letter. R stands for reference. Reference information is the nitty-gritty detail. The tiny specific information that you might need to know, but it doesn't really change your big picture understanding. Think of the exact value of a math constant like pi. It starts with 3.14159, and it goes on forever. Knowing the first 10 digits doesn't really change your understanding of what a circle is. But you might need to know it for calculation. That's reference information. Or the name of a specific obscure gene in biology. Or a specific date in history. To clarify the difference between evidence and reference, let's go back to our building. The concept is the building design. The evidence is the blueprint and engineering data that prove it is strong. The reference information is the specific paint color code for the walls on the third floor bathroom. It is a detail. You might need to know it. Maybe your boss asks for it, but does it affect your understanding of the building's design or strength? No, not at all. The digestion process for reference information is also store and rehearse, but the rehearsal is different. Because this information is not deeply connected to a big idea. The rehearsal is about direct recall, simple memory. This is the perfect place for flashcards. Do you know flashcards? A small piece of paper or a card. On one side, you write the question. What is the paint code? On the other side, you write the answer, RX78B. And then you practice. You rehearse. You look at the card. You try to remember the answer. You check. This is where apps like Anki are very useful. They use a system called spaced repetition. This just means the app shows you the card again and again over time. First today, then in 1 day, then in 3 days, then in a week. This tells your brain, hey, this little detail is important to remember. But please, my friend, listen to this carefully. This is a very important warning. Do not waste your precious learning time rereading and trying to memorize evidence and reference information during your first reading. That initial consumption time is so valuable. Use that time to understand the big ideas, the procedural, the analogous, and the conceptual, the P, the A, and the C. These form the foundation of your knowledge castle. Focus on building a strong foundation first. You can always paint the walls later. So now you have it, the 5 types of information, and the special targeted process to digest each one. Let's quickly say them again in simple words. When you learn how to do something, you must practice it. When you learn something that is like something else, you must check the connection. When you learn a big idea, you must draw a map. When you learn a supporting fact, you save it and use it. When you learn a tiny detail, you save it and repeat it. This is the system, simple, clear, gentle. The key is to always keep your 2 wings balanced. Balance your consumption with your digestion. Balance your gathering of ingredients with your cooking. If you do this, you will stop forgetting. You will start remembering. And more importantly, you will start understanding. Your learning will become a source of joy and confidence. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It means the world to me. What we talked about today is a wonderful first step. But when it comes to learning how to learn, it is just scratching the surface. It is like learning our first 3 notes on the piano. There is a whole world of beautiful music waiting for us. Before you go, please write a comment. Tell me one thing. What is one thing you want to learn this week using this new method? I would love to read about your learning adventures. And if this episode was helpful for you, if it made you feel a little more hopeful about your own learning journey, please consider giving it a like or a 5-star rating. It helps other people find our little community. Thank you again, my dear friend. Remember to be kind to yourself. Learning is a journey, not a race. Go at your own pace. You are doing a wonderful, wonderful job. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See you next time, my friend.